So it's July, and to be exact is July 3rd, and I'm supposed to have a video up today. This may come up today, may come up tomorrow. We shall see. I have been having a very bad pain day. So if you see me like flinch or like seems like I'm not moving a lot, it's kind of because I'm trying to keep myself in one place. But you don't care so much about that. You care about what I'm going to be reading this month, because I care about what I'm going to be reading this month. I have been struggling for more than a year with reading in general. Last month, I set myself a challenge of trying to read 150 pages a day. I failed miserably, but I did read more books in that 1 month than I have the whole rest of the year. I almost doubled the amount of books I had read this year in June alone. So I'm going to keep that going forward. That my goal is to read 150 pages a day. Will I succeed in that? Probably not. But it's not about succeeding in it perfectly, it's about reading more. The other goal is to try and read a book and a half a week, so that by the end of the month I've read 6 books. That's where I'm sitting myself, because I think that 6 books is a lot, but it's also achievable. And this does not include Reading Rush / Booktubeathon. This is just 6 books that I have my eye on for this month, either because they're new, because they're ones that I've been meaning to read and I have them, or because I'm reading them with Gretchen. And by that I mean there's one that I'm reading with Gretchen because we want to do a thing together, but also she had asked me to help her. So let's start with that one. Why not? So the first book that I'm going to be reading, not chronologically, but one of the books that I'm going to be reading this month, Hey Kiddo by Jarrett J. Krasowska. I'm going to say Krasowska. He's a graphic artist. This is his memoir. Gretchen has to read this for her class that she's taking at the end of the month, and she does not like graphic novels. And she knows that I read a lot of comics and graphic novels, and I'm kind of more visually, artistically inclined than she is. So she asked me to read this with her in sort of solidarity to help her read it, because she kind of stays away from this type of thing. And I don't think she should. I think that anybody can read graphic novels. There's a lot of really good things happening right now in graphic novels. There's sort of like a boom in the industry, especially towards middle grade or YA readers. There's a lot. And also just, I think the superhero thing in film is also trickling down into sort of some money in the traditional comic industry. A lot of people have become more open to things like this. So yeah, we're going to be reading this. Tell you the truth, I don't know a lot about it. I'm reading it because Gretchen wanted me to. It's a memoir. Not a big memoir person personally. It's a memoir. Let's talk about the one that I'm reading right now. Daisy Jones and the Six. This has been floating around Litfic Booktube / Chicklit Booktube. It is a novel stylized, like it's taken bits and pieces from a bunch of interviews about a fake band from the 70s who became famous and then fell into obscurity, and sort of the story of why that happened and who these people were. Taylor Jenkins Reid is the author, I think, of the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I think that's the title of that book. Not positive. I haven't read that one. I'm reading this one partially because of the hype, and partially because I've been like keeping track on Reese Witherspoon's book club, Hello Sunshine, for a while, and I've liked a couple of the books that she's recommended. So obviously I want to pick up something with like a strong female protagonist. It's supposedly really quick. I'm not very far into it. 59 pages into it. I could probably finish this in one sitting. Like if I sit down tonight and read it, I could probably finish it if I wanted to. Will I do that? I don't know. I have to, edit this video and post it. Maybe I'll read while I'm waiting for it to export or something. I don't know. Speaking of hype, I'm thinking I'm gonna pick up Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I have a bit of a crush on Kat from paperback dreams. She's doing stuff on her channel that I wish that I could do. I wish that I was the type of reader who could sticky note the hell out of a book and like give a very concise video about the pros and cons and the things done well and the words that are repeated. I have a very good sense when reading of like things that could be cut out, things that could be done better, the direction that I think a book should be going, and if it goes in the wrong direction, like why I think that it would have been stronger in another direction, what that has. But I'm not as detail-oriented as she is, at least not on the first read. And I'm sure that she rereads stuff in order to do all of her sticky notes and her annotating and all of that. But this is like her favorite book of all time. So when you like a person and what they like to say, and you like what they say, maybe pick up the book that they love. It's so YA romance. And I don't know, it's got podcasts in it. I've been super into podcasts the last 2 years. Why not? Why not? It's like about people getting ready to go to, I guess, college. I guess it takes place in the UK, question mark. So is she getting ready for university or college? I'm not positive. I'm going on what the sort of I've heard through the grapevine. Also, Alice Oseman has a channel on YouTube, and she's quite young, and that's talent right there. So go check her out. I might link everything down below. I might not. I'm bad at that. Oh god. On the YA train, I have Dig by A.S. King. This is her newest book. It just came out last month. I got it in hardback. It's one of my most anticipated releases of the year. I have not read a whole lot of A.S. King, but what I have read of her, I have super loved. And this book sounds like her more weird alternative magical realism stuff, which I like more than her like more normal contemporary things. Follows a bunch of kids who are like the grandkids of potato farmers, and there's some sort of money thing and like rot in the family tree and things like that. So they have weird names, like I think one of them is literally just "Can I help you?" ? That's the name of the character, or at least what everybody calls them and what they call themselves. So, you know, weird magical realism stuff I like. A.S. King, author I like. Of course I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna read it. Moving on to the book that I probably should have read like freaking 5 years ago or whatever. The Shining Girls by Lauren Bukes. I picked this up forever ago. I have had this for years and years and years. And it is time traveling serial killer thriller. He like finds a house that when he opens up the doors, it opens up into different times, but in order to use the house, he has to essentially kill these girls that are shining girls, or there's like some aura about them. But one of his victims survives and then has to figure out how to catch him, despite him being a time traveler and like hopping around different time zones. It's weird, but I love that idea. I loved her book Broken Monsters. I'm thinking of rereading that at some point this year because I liked it so much, and this was before that one, I believe. This was their first book, and then Broken Monsters. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, but I really should have read this forever ago. I'm gonna try and read it this month. And to round it all off, another thriller, but this one's a YA thriller, and one that I picked up almost exclusively because of the cover, which is the Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. This, to me, is one of the single best covers. It's so evocative. I don't know if you can see all the detail, how it's like just a plain blue cheerleading skirt with a blood stain on it, and then there's like bits and pieces of blood spatter around the edges of this that's not like overwhelming, just bits and pieces. So like at first glance, you're just like, oh, it's a cheerleading skirt. And if you look a little bit closer, you see all of this like ominous stuff. Super great. I know that Kayla at Books with Lala has read this. I don't remember her review of it. It was probably 3 or 4 stars. It's not one that she like really super loved, but it wasn't one that I think that she disliked. And it's one of those books that like every time I go into the bookstore, I look at it and go, ah, that's such a good cover. Hopefully the book on the inside matches the cover. That's the idea. And those are the 6 books that I'm hoping to get to this month. Will I stick to this TBR? Maybe, maybe not. I have other things that I want to read that I just got. My birthday's on Saturday. I may get Barnes & Noble gift cards. I may use those to buy books. If you know me, that's not a may, it's probably an is. I do have some good news. Hopefully, we will be doing another episode of Bibliomancy for Beginners soon. We switched it to podcast form and then immediately didn't do it anymore because Taylor was going into his final year of his master's, and Gretchen got super stressed out at her full-time job plus her master's degree, and I was depressed. I'm still depressed, but I'm in a slightly better environment than I was back then. So hopefully we can do that. We are hoping to talk about Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I've already read it. I'm going to save my thoughts on it for our discussion on the 12th. So look forward to that. I'm not sure whether I'm going to post an audio video of it here or if I'm just going to link the podcast itself, which you can find on like Spotify, iTunes, any podcatcher of your choosing. And then the other thing is that I last month, in those like 6 books that I read and enjoyed, have read a new all-time favorite, and that is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. And I'm planning to do a review of this on its own to talk about why I loved it so much and why you should read it for sure. Even if you're not a big horror / thriller person, this was really good, and yeah, so I'm gonna make a whole video talking about this. So there's content, hopefully, coming up. My goal is to do 1 video a week for me. I would love to also do 1 video a week with Gretchen. Will we be able to do that? Who fucking knows? Not me. I sure as hell don't. But we're gonna try. We keep saying we're gonna try. We keep showing up every once in a while. Gretchen's been much better at making videos than I have. That's all I have for you today. Those are the books I want to read in July. Will I be participating in the reading rush? Probably. Will I be failing the reading rush? Probably. Will there be an entirely separate TBR just for that? Oh, hell yeah. Of course. Those are the goals. Hopefully we get some stuff out for you. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully it's all beautiful. Hopefully I'm not in a bunch of pain next time, because hooey howdy is it not fun.